show you how to make layered Mexican cornbread. This is Paula Deen's recipe, and it's a recipe I've made multiple times over the years. You need to preheat your oven to 350. You need to either grease an 8x8 square pan or a 9x9, and you can use cooking spray or butter, it doesn't matter. Alright, so let's get started. In a large bowl, you're supposed to mix together the cornmeal and the flour. We're going to use self-rising flour, so you won't need the baking powder that the recipe calls for if you use self-rising. If you use all-purpose, you will need it. So cornmeal, we're going to need a cup of cornmeal. And I'm just using the white cornmeal. You can use whatever. And then we need our half a cup of flour. Okay. Let me get my whisk so that I can whisk that just a little bit. Okay. Just a little bit. Okay. The next thing that you'll need to add is your milk and eggs. So it'll be 2 eggs, and milk will be 2/3 of a cup. Set that going. One, and 2. Let me get a spoon. Alrighty. And you'll need to add a half a teaspoon of salt, and your oil will go in here. So let me stir some of this. A teaspoon of salt. Alright, half teaspoon of salt. And oil will be 1/3 of a cup as well. Okay, stirring onion. So I've got half a cup of chopped onion. You try to need to mince it just as best as you can, small as possible would be good. And you need a 14-ounce can of corn, cream style corn. Okay. Now all you have to do is layer it in your pan, and with your cheese and your peppers in between, and you're done. Okay, so I got this one that's about 8x8. You have to keep in mind and only put half of this batter in to begin with. You have to keep in mind the deeper the pan, the longer it's going to take to bake. And this is a very wet batter. Alright, so then you take your cheese and peppers, and you only need, let me think, a cup of cheddar. So this is about a cup. And you need a cup of jalapeños. They're chopped. I use the jarred type because it's my favorite. There's a certain brand that I use, and because I like it. So just put a little bit around the edges. I don't use a whole cup of chopped jalapeños. I use probably about 1/3 of a cup maybe. You could probably also substitute green chilies for this part if you wanted to. Okay, and then you take, let me wipe my hands off. Then you take the rest of the batter and you pour on top, and that's it. It'll be 350 for 35 minutes. But a lot of times I have to cook it longer because it's so wet. Okay. See you in a few minutes. Okay, so here's the cornbread. Straight out of the oven. I had to cut the heat up on the oven about 375 because it's if you kind of push on it, it's a little bit too wet, if that makes sense. It's really, really good, but it still may be just too much moisture. So I always try to put it in the flattest pan I can find, just so it can cook faster. It's really, really good. It's just kind of you know, you'll have to see with your oven how it's gonna cook, you know. So I guess I'll see y'all next time.